After reading the will, everything changed. The family that had been in the best of relationships for years was completely torn apart. The truth came out, and no one had seen it coming. The fights over inheritance escalated, and the room filled with anger and uncertainty. The moment my father's will was read, everything changed in an instant. My father, who had always spoken of loving one another and supporting each other through any hardships, had now become the reason we were fighting amongst ourselves. I will never forget that moment when, on that day, everything suddenly shifted. As we all sat in the room, no one had imagined that this will would bring such a bitter truth to the surface. We were all sitting there, my brother, my sister, and my husband. My mother was also present, always the kind-hearted one, the one who could understand everyone. All our eyes were fixed on the paper that outlined my father's last wishes. The lawyer reading the will had no expression on his face, as if he had delivered a shocking statement, but without showing any emotion. And after this, 60% of your mother's property will be transferred to you. The remaining 40% will be divided between your brother and sister, the lawyer said in a cold tone. A loud voice echoed in my mind. This was the moment when something was off, and I immediately recognized it. What was going on in my father's mind? Where did this decision come from, this inheritance that was being divided? Everything was so quiet, and then, a bombshell dropped. My brother's face turned red, and he shouted, "What? How can this be? Why wasn't I given anything? Why is my hard work being wasted?" My husband looked at me in disbelief. He was with me, but his eyes were filled with questions. I couldn't say anything in that moment, because I couldn't understand what was happening myself. Was this all coming from my father's mind, or was there something else at play? My sister, who was always quiet and calm, was now the angriest I had ever seen her. She said angrily, "I will never accept this. This is all lies. You have always played games with us." The room was filled with anger and uncertainty. Every word and every decision from my father, which had once seemed loving, had now created a rift between us. I wondered, had the truth ever been in front of us? And if it had we ever recognized it? I turned back to the past. My father had always been a very balanced person. He had always wished the best for us. But now, what was happening? Why was this inheritance being divided like this? We all had the same question in our eyes. Did we really know our father? My brother's anger was only escalating. He was saying something again about the will. I wondered, was it really just about money and property? Or was there something else that we were overlooking? My mind began to fill with countless questions. Was this truly my father's last wish? Or were there other factors that we didn't know about? Were these decisions influenced by someone else's pressure? And when did we realize that our father's personality had this flaw? Then came the moment when everything changed. A close friend of my father came forward and said, "I promised your father that I would fulfill his last wish." This friend, who had always been with us, revealed a secret. He said that my father had been suffering from a hidden illness that made decision-making difficult for him. He had always advised us to think clearly, but he himself had been lost in his own struggles. Everything became clear in an instant. This wasn't just about inheritance. It was the truth of our father's mental condition that we had never understood. Then, we all rethought everything. Whatever he had done, it was for our love, and now we needed that same love with each other. We forgave each other, and finally, in the battle for inheritance, we faced the truth. In the end, everything that had been broken was mended again. And the family, that had been in the best of relationships for years, was united once again. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more captivating content. Your support means a lot and helps us continue creating stories that resonate with you. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Stay tuned for more, and we appreciate you taking the time to read.